You want to take the Chicago press, win them over with our charm and wit?
There we go. You have an opening statement?
Yes, I always have an opening statement to make to the press, Robin.
Well, let's open the line.
Right.
Are we doing this by satellite again?
Yes, we are. See if this is working. Chicago, very good. Hi-O Silver, I always say.
Okay.
Please, Jack. Okay.
All right.
Okay, yeah, sure. Hi-O Silver.
Say whatever you want.
You want to say Hi-O Silver? Fine. Just get some ratings, and everything will be fine.
Oh, boy.
Hi-O Silver.
We've got about 12 members of the press so far here in Chicago in our conference room here at the radio station in the Hancock Building, downtown Chicago.
And what are you, any good-looking women?
Mostly staff of the radio station. You've got
You got like three press and mostly staff of the radio station.
No, you got about 12 members of the press, but they all seem to be good-looking, virile young gentlemen.
Right.
And the radio station staff are the good-looking women.
I see. And what press is represented there?
Well, everybody from the Windy City Times, the Chicago Sun-Times, Chicago Tribune.
Well, it's a very important papers, Robin.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
It's
very
a very impressive group.
You got Channel 2, the CBS affiliate TV here in Chicago.
Oh, there is some television.
Yes, television as well, Robin. Of course. This is a major event. Of course. Yes.
And even the Museum of Broadcast History is here, Howard.
That's
this
good.
Is
That's right.
This is history in the making. This is
right.
very important history.
That's why he's here.
All right, let me address the press.
Okay,
Because I'm really sick of you.
Attaboy.
All right, here we go. Attaboy. He's like a real mellow guy. I spoke to him this morning
He's
on
like
the
a
phone.
guy's guy,
He's a
too.
guy's guy. He started calling me dude and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, first up is Niall Lynch from the Windy City Times.
And no offense, I'd like to make an opening statement and address the press.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
All right.
All right, I didn't get
Let's
you don't
not
mind-
jump ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I would like to
conference manual.
Yeah, I would like to conduct this, okay?
Okay, you're on the air.
All right. Thank you. Pushy guy.
He seems like he wants to get this over with in the worst way.
Yeah, like let's just get this done.
Don't drag it out.
All right, first of all, to the press, to all the people of Chicago, hello. Hello. Hello, Chicago. It is with great pleasure and very little humility that...
Very little humility.
Very little. That we crash land into the Chicago market. You are the Windy City. You are the second city. But now you have the #1 radio program in your city.
No longer are you second.
No longer
You
are you
first.
second. You are now first. I am still obnoxiously confident that Chicagoans will take me into their homes and like
into
me
their hearts.
and their hearts. I believe that it will not be much of a challenge in the Chicago market. No offense to the program director there. I'm sure he's friends with that big fat slob that we're up against in the morning, Steve Dull.
Well, he actually has to see him, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, you have
happy family.
Do you guys see? Yeah, I know. Big happy family. They're trying to get me not to talk about the other personalities on the station, but I understand everyone's been doing a lot of talking about me. I've been getting the press from Chicago.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Full House. You know that show where you got John Stamos, Dave...
Yeah,
Coulier?
no, this isn't like Full House. This is my career we're
You don't know
talking
why
about.
you're
I'm
all
sick
under
and
the same
tired of some
building.
big fat jerk talking about me all morning where I can't talk about him. Now the tables will turn. You better tell that big fat slop to shut his mouth.
It's kind of like Bonanza.
You hear me?
know,
What is your
I'm-
name
I'm-
again? What is your name again?
Jack.
Jack, you listen to me.
I got you, man.
There's no bonanza here. There's
I'm
absolutely
Paul.
no bonanza.
He's Hoss.
No, he's Haas.
You're
He's Haas, about 500 pounds bigger than Haas. Haas is thin compared to him. We're a big, happy family with one big fat slob who better shut his big fat mouth or I'll come down there and teach him a lesson.
Right.
Or over there, wherever you are.
Wherever you are. Another big fat slob in a Hawaiian shirt opening his big fat yap about how funny he is. We're all scared of his scary talents.
Did you ever see the Waltons? You know, like, there's Howard...
Hey, jack off. I'm talking. Never mind the Waltons.
Okay.
This is no Waltons.
And you watch too much television, I
That's
think.
right.
The morning guy I was supposed to go up against, Johnny B, had enough good sense to go into the afternoons and hide from me because he was losing ratings anyway. He's a big loser. As soon as he went on TV with that stupid television show of his and started giving wedgies to guys. What kind of TV show gives wedgies to other guys?
Are you still on your text?
No, I'm off the text. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm off my damn text. I had a beautiful speech prepared. My writers
Why
worked
did
all
you
night.
do that, Jack?
Jack off.
Remember Good Times? Like,
Oh, we
Oh,
used
just shut up. You're really pissing me off. You shut up.
Okay.
Your job is hanging by a thread. I'm barely able to work with you. Johnny B on the loose was giving wedgies to guys. And I guess it just wasn't all that funny. And I saw that videotape you guys put out with him. What was that? A musical tape? What is he, a rock star?
big time.
Yeah, 20,000 people packed in to hear some bad Huey Lewis sound alike.
28.
28,000 people go there because I guess they got nothing better to do in Chicago but go see some guy running around in his underpants singing some kind of Huey Lewis song. Johnny B on the loose. Well, he's a good dog. He did the smart thing and went to afternoon so he wouldn't have to compete with some real talent.
Just stacking the deck.
Yeah, stacking the deck my ass. You tell Johnny B to keep his mouth shut because he's my bitch. He's my dog boy. He does what I tell him to do. I tell him to go to afternoons. He went like a good boy. And as far as that big fat slob, I read Mr. Fader's column. I believe it was Feeder. And in Mr. Feeder's column, the big fatso, big chubsy ubsy, he wants to play more, what is it? He wants to go to Little League games with his son in the afternoon?
Yeah, that's what he
That
said.
should be pleasant. Will everyone jog around Steve to get their exercise before the game? Big fatso. Everybody ripped him off, huh? We'll see who ripped who off. Big fat pig. You shut your mouth. Smack his fat stomach with a bat at the game. See it roll around with the jelly in it. Smack that big fat belly with a bat. I'm just so sick of this guy with the Shemp haircut. You tell him when you see him. You going to see him today, Jackoff?
I'll do it.
Yeah, you tell him what I said.
What about that prepared
And you
test?
tell him to shut his mouth.
Okay.
Because if I hear him talk, I'm put a bra on him. That puffy moron. You tell him to wear a bra. What cup is he? Do you know? You know the guy. What cup is he?
Well, I've never been good with that, you know.
He didn't
you
let
know
you
what-
feel him up? You can't feel him up?
No.
Well, he should be at Little League games. We're going to give him lots of time to go to Little League games with his son. He can sit there and watch him play Little League. Little League. Imagine the embarrassment. Your dad shows up and he's 500 pounds waddling around and he's screaming at you, go ahead, hit the ball. Like he could hit a ball. Slide.
With us today, Niall.
How many
Lewis of
meals
the
does that guy eat?
Windy City Times.
Takes up 6 seats at the game. The poor moms can't even watch their kids play. Wants to be there with all the moms and watch the kid play baseball. Baseball. Give me a break. You just tell him to shut his mouth, because if I hear that he's talking about me, I'm not going to stop talking about him. You understand? You tell him to keep his big fat mouth shut, and maybe there'll be some peace in our little family. You understand me, Jackoff?
Didn't we already do this at 5?
No, did you hear this? I'm doing it all morning. I don't care.
Okay.
When you see him, you tell him to keep his big, fat, pig mouth shut.
Also with us, Jeff Borden of Crane Chicago Business.
Finish your statement, Hal.
Yeah, that
Big
prepared
all right, let me finish my statement. I'm sorry. Sick of other disc jockeys. Sick of them. I'm sick of them with their friggin' Hawaiian shirts. Every fat, big fatso that we compete with. Same guy with the guys in Albany with their Hawaiian shirts. With the big fashion statement. You want to see a fashion statement, members of the press, you stare at Robin's lovely jugs.
Oh, no.
Now, there's
Look at
something
you.
nice.
Look at you.
Instead of looking at that big, fat, lard-ass, belly roll, smelly Steve Dole. And you tell him to kiss my feet and beg for mercy as Chicago becomes another notch on my belt. And now the king of all media will welcome your questions.
Oh, boy.
Niall?
Howard,
Yes.
when you're
Windy City Times?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now,
I'm
you
sorry.
wanted to say something special to them, didn't you?
What did I want to say to them? Oh, is that the gay press?
That's what you told me.
Oh, Windy City Times is the gay press?
Yes, sir.
By the way, let me say something. Do you know that at 7 years old, I touched another man? And that I have homosexual tendencies?
I don't doubt that for a minute.
And you're very
Thank you.
proud of it.
And I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of the gay community.
Coming out to you. You're the first person
And
to
let me
get
make
this
let me
in
make
press.
a yes, that's right. And I'm coming out to you guys. And let me take another statement about the gays. I am king of all gays. And I'll tell you why. When you see imbeciles like Pat Buchanan get up at the Republican convention and say that gays don't belong in this country, because that's what he implied as far as I'm concerned. I say this. There's a lot of people living in this country. Maybe you don't like the fact that they enjoy each other's maleness. But what are you supposed to do with the 10% of this country that is gay? What do you mean? They're not allowed to live here anymore? What are we, animals?
Are they not supposed to work?
Are they not supposed to work? Are they
Do
not supposed to live?
get to pursue happiness too?
How's that, huh?
I kiss your feet, sir.
Well, thank you.
Chicago gay community kisses your
Well,
feet.
let me tell you something. Well, I'll pull down your pants and kiss your
That's
ass.
just the beginning.
That's right. Well, thank you.
When you started your show in Los Angeles,
Thank you.
You promised that when it became number one,
That's true.
Robin would have sex with one of your listeners.
That is correct.
And I have a two-part question. A, when is that going to happen? And B, what are you going to do for Chicago when Chicago makes your show number one?
That's
How are
a
you
good
gonna
point.
top that? Are you going to have sex with a member of the gay community, maybe, or something like that?
well.
Oh, there you go, Howard.
There you go.
That's not cheating.
What, you crazy? Hey, listen. So you're gay?
Absolutely.
You have a life mate?
No. Mm-mm.
You were looking for a guy?
Well, always looking, but sometimes you don't want to find.
Would you like to come on the gay dating game?
Of course.
Really?
Absolutely.
Are you butch or femme?
Well, it depends on how heavy my makeup is.
Let me tell you something. Did you hear Richard Simmons on?
Yes, I did.
Do you like getting spanked?
Do I like getting spanked?
Yeah. Have you been a bad girl?
I've always been a bad girl.
You are a bad girl.
Absolutely. Without
Do
question.
you have a gay name?
No, my gay name is my real name.
What is your name?
Niall.
Niall. You know, it's funny. I know a lot of gay men.
Yeah.
And they
Where
have...
do you know these gay men from?
I have gay men in my family.
Oh.
Yeah. Runs in the Stern family.
I know. I found out yesterday.
And a lot of them changed their names
Two.
to female names. Or like
You
sort of...
don't call him Uncle.
No,
Miriam or something.
not like that. But I always comply with the... You know, I'm a very forward kind of thinking guy. If a guy wants to be called a woman's name, I don't care.
And they have you calling them women's names?
Yeah. My dad is gay.
Oh, stop.
You ever see my mother? What do you think? He's having sex with a woman? All right. Let me get back to your question. Yes, Robin did promise to have sex with one of the men of Los Angeles. And she will. She will keep her promise.
I will.
Yes, of course you will. You're not... You are, right?
Remains to be seen.
Oh, you are. We're going to pick out a really good-looking guy for her, and she will pleasure him. That is correct. As far as what we will do for Chicago when we become number one, what will we do for Chicago? Shall we have a parade?
Oh, yes.
We will have a parade. I mean a big parade, and I will broadcast from Chicago. And who is number one in Chicago right now? Who is the number one morning show?
A guy named Bob Collins on WGN.
So it's not even Stephen Gary.
No, those two fat losers are going down. Big Fatso has to eat and watch Little League games in the afternoon.
He's an embarrassment.
You know what my prediction is in Chicago?
Claiming to be you, and he's not number one.
And you know,
oh my God.
I mean, here's a guy I imitate, but meanwhile, he's not even number one in his own community. Big fat joke. How could you guys put him on in the morning? Just get rid of him. Let me simulcast in the morning. As soon as I knock him off, just put me on the simulcast, okay?
I'll write that down for...
Hey, Jack, let me ask you something, pal. Where do your allegiances lie? Who are you with? Are you with me, or are you with that big fat pig? Who are you with? Hey, let me ask you something, Jack.
Yeah.
When I call you up and I ask you to do something for me, you going to go tell the big fat pig what I'm doing?
We'll keep it in the house. But basically, I mean, let's put it this way.
Yeah, let me ask you something. How do you handle the fact that you're the program director for two guys? Two competing morning shows. How do you handle that? Whose allegiances are you, who do you have allegiance to?
Interesting question.
Yeah, I'd like to know that. I'd like to know when I tell you something, it can be held confidentially. I know you were up here at the station. I want to meet with you. I don't know if you're going to go tell the big fat slob what I'm up to.
No, it'll be confidential, but you got to remember, like, this isn't a classic rock station where after you get off the air, it's just going to stop and play a Beatles A to Z game.
Yeah, Jack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
let me hear this. Yeah.
What we got to do is you got two big old radio stations moving side by side under one roof.
Yeah.
And we together.
Oh yeah, we. There's no we. It's just me.
Okay.
We. Yeah.
Shall dominate. There's no way to lose.
So Jack, let me get this straight. That you're with me, or you're pulling for the fatso? Who are you with? That's why I don't call you Jack. I'm not going to sit there and meet with you. So you can give the big pig my whole rationale and what I'm going to do and my whole game plan. I can't trust you. You're not my program director. This is the most retarded situation I've ever seen. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. You're the program director for my competition?
No.
What are you? Who are you?
Listen.
So you're the program director for me?
For you.
Not the competition?
No. But they're under
Does
the
everyone
same roof.
understand what's going on here? The RFM station in Chicago has a big fat pig who's been nasty and been saying things about my advertisers and stuff. Some big fat pig who doesn't have an ounce of talent. Some real fat slob that sees Jack in the halls every day.
Well,
But
he
Jack
brushes-
wants
he
to be
brushes
my
me off
pal.
like bad dandruff.
What was that?
I say he brushes me off like bad dandruff now that he's gone on the FM, so he'll do his thing. we'll
Yeah,
do
that's
our
good.
thing, and
Yeah,
we'll-
no, we don't do our thing and they do their thing. Are you with me or are you against me, Jack? You with me or against me? So let me hear you say.
trouble with this question.
Let me hear you say that big fat pig sucks. Let me hear you say it, Jack.
Can't do it.
Why not?
Can't do it.
Because you're not on my team.
I'm on your team.
My program director in New York has no problem making fun of my competition.
Yeah, because they're not in the same building under the
Yeah,
same.
so what?
Well, what's he going to do? Punch you?
What's he going to
Well, no,
do to
'cause
you?
I don't feel that way.
Is he a big fat slob?
No, sir.
Oh, he's not.
Is he fat?
Is he fat?
He's a good-sized boy.
So you can't say he's
man.
fat, can you?
He's got his own program director to worry about.
So he is fat, isn't he? He's a big fatso. Imagine that. He's going to go to Little League games and embarrass his son by standing there.
Like the wall,
Next
the
up,
Great
like the-
Wall
like
of
the-
China.
The Great Wall of
Chicago
China. Hey, hit the ball. Hit the ball. Hey, fatso. All the kids, hey, fatso, let's see you hit the ball. Let's see you run to first base.
Yeah,
We watch
let's
you
see
jiggle.
Get around the bases.
Put a bra on him and let him jiggle down to the first baseline. You ever watch him eat? He must eat all day. He must defecate and eat like a cow. Say he defecates and eats like a cow if you're on my team, Jack.
I can't do it.
No, you
I
can't.
can't do it. But here, next up, Jeff.
Big pussy.
All right.
Jack,
He's calling
Jack,
me
don't
that
ever
with that
call me.
myself.
Jack, you call me on the phone
Yeah.
when you can get on the air and tell me that guy's a big fat slob, okay?
Okay.
That's when you're on my team.
All right.
That's when I know you're my program director.
Jeff Borden from Crane's Chicago Business up next.
It is Jack.
Howard, Robin,
Hi.
good morning.
Good morning.
Howard, how long do you think it'll take you to be number one in the morning ratings in Chicago?
Now, again, I don't know what the story is on the AM station. I'm very proud to be on the AM station. I think it'll be a good test of how we compete on AM radio. And I would guess that if I don't see the competition being all that rough. I think the people of Chicago want some good entertainment. Robin, I'm going to go out on a limb here and
Yeah.
say within a year we will be the number one
All right,
station.
I
Within
think
a
that's a
year?
conservative guess.
Yeah, I would say about a year. You know, it takes a while only because the ratings take a while to reflect. And if the good people of Chicago are,
As hip as we think they are.
yeah, and if they're willing to admit that they listen and that kind of stuff, we need that to go for us also. We need the people of Chicago to make us number one, or else, quite frankly, I don't think the station's going to put up with this. In fact, I think by tomorrow they're going to pull
Yeah,
us off
Jack's
the air.
ready to get rid of us now.
Jack wishes they never hired us.
Howard, why is it that, given your
Why do you? Hey, let me
status-
ask you something. You're a smart guy. You're an observer of the radio scene.
Yes.
Why is it that Jack? How can Jack be the program director of two competing morning shows?
He has a split personality.
Yeah, you tell me how he's going to pull that off. That's like at your newspaper. What newspaper do you compete with?
All of them.
Yeah, well, imagine if all of them worked for one boss. How could you sit there and tell anybody anything confidentially?
It would be a difficult
You're
situation.
damn right. I don't trust Jack as far as I can throw him.
Howard, you get a piece of the advertising revenues here, right?
No, that is not the case.
That's not the case?
No.
Okay, well, nonetheless, what would you say to skittish advertisers who are nervous about associating with your show?
Well, first of all, I would say to the advertising community, we are in tough times. And I don't think the days are here anymore where you can just advertise on a radio station and not care what the results are. I have clients on this station, this very radio station that you're listening to. I'm talking about it back in New York, in Los Angeles, in Philly, who have all come on and made millions of dollars off of this program. When I first found Dial-A Mattress, they made they grossed $1 million a year. Now, the first year of business with me, they grossed $13 million a year. That's what it's all about getting results.
Okay.
So if you're skittish about making money, stay away.
Yeah, anybody who's skittish, stay away.
Just two other quick questions, Howard.
Our advertisers are constantly banging their heads trying to kiss my ass. That's what. Sometimes it's embarrassing.
Yes, you should see. Right now, there's 5 of them at him.
Sometimes their heads actually collide. May I take a break here and then come back and finish the rest of these questions? Would that be all right?
Don't ask me.
All right. Can I take a break here? I just got to take a commercial break, and I'll come back.
We're being gracious to the press. Are you hanging with us?
Are you
press?
hanging with me through the commercial?
We'll hang in.
All right. Yeah, I'm giving you plenty to write about. All right, we'll be back right after these words.
Hi, this is Dave Herman on 92.3 K-Rock, and we're continuing our month-long 92.3 K-Rocktoberfest today by declaring it Block Party Thursday. All day today, starting right after the Howard Stern Show, we'll play blocks of classic rock from your favorite rock and rollers. And we need you to help us program the day by faxing and phone.
Is this Iowa? Okay, listen, Iowa, I met with them the other day, Robin, actually yesterday, and I must tell you about a great piece of equipment. Iowa has a piece of equipment called the NSX 350M CD Minimax.
Mini-Mac.
That's right, Minimax.
Mini-Mac.
Minimax delivers
Minimax.
concert sound from a system that's no bigger than a small microwave oven. Picture a system, 2 speakers on the side, with a stack of components in the middle, but it's all miniature. Miniature.
Miniature.
There you go. It has a CD changer on it. You can take 3 CDs. It's the only one I know of that allows you to change 2 of the CDs while listening to the 3rd CD. And I must tell you that the sound on this thing is unbelievable, and they make everything so easy. There's an automatic graphic equalizer that allows you to adjust for either rock, pop, or classical music, and the music just fills the room. And as loud as you crank this thing, it never gets distorted. It is an amazing piece of equipment. It's called, if you're thinking about mini components,
Mini-component.
remember Iowa. And remember Iowa's slogan.
I hear ya.
That's their slogan. There it is. Mini components.
Mini-component.
Iowa. What is it, Gary?
No, I was just going to say, the guy from Dial-A-Mattress called, and just not only did he thank you, but he said that the number that you've helped him grow to is not 13, it's 30.
30.
30 million.
Well, wait a second. It was 13 million the first. Let me tell the Chicago Press that. Hello? Chicago Press?
Hello, Howard.
Hi, we're back.
Made a mistake
We made a mistake. The guy from Dial-A-Mattress said he went from 1 million to 30 million
in 1 year.
in 1 year. You tell me what Chicago advertiser wouldn't want that.
And he also said that whatever market you go to, he'll just continue to follow you to those markets.
Now, he's on my team, unlike Jack, the program director.
Jack doesn't know what to do.
Jack doesn't know what to do. Jack, you're going to have to really straighten that whole situation out.
I decided, yes, Mr. Stern, I'm your caddy.
Good.
Okay?
That's good.
You got it.
Hey, what do you think of that big fat pig? Say he's a big fat pig.
See, that I can't do.
Right.
You tell me I got the best radio station on the planet since
Okay.
Imus, Joey Reynolds, you, and Soupy Sales and all those. I mean, that's what this thing is.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. When I worked with Imus, Joey Reynolds, and Soupy Sales,
Yeah.
I didn't get along with them either.
Oh,
And I'm not going to get along with Johnny B on the noose.
sorry, bad example.
Johnny B should be hanging from a noose.
Back to Jeff Borden of Crane Chicago Business.
And I'll tell you another thing. I happen to be aware that you're not sending me the articles out of Chicago when that big fat slob opens his mouth. I notice you don't send me the articles, do you? You think I'm not going to get them? The people of Chicago will send me those articles. And if that big fat pig opens his mouth again, I want you to send me the article so I know about it.
Okay.
What'd you think of that big fat slob going up in front of the advertisers and saying they shouldn't advertise on my show? What'd you think of that?
He cracked the room up. He was
Yeah, he cracked the room
like
up?
a Stradivarius.
Yeah, I bet you he cracked the... You know what he should do? He should pull down his pants. That'll crack the room up.
Oh, so Jack was entertained.
Yeah, you like that, huh? We're going to see who entertains.
You're going to do it, Howard.
Yeah, okay, Jack.
Howard.
Jack off.
You just sit back and don't get in our way.
Yeah, don't get in my way. And see if you can promote the show every once in a while.
Howard, this is Jeff Borden from Crane Chicago Business. Let me
Yes.
have one last question.
Thank you.
You asked Jack about his schizophrenic programming situation here.
Yes.
What about you? You work for a company that has 2 radio stations and is in the process of buying a 3rd in Chicago.
Right.
Aren't you in something of a schizophrenic situation yourself, competing against the very guys that are paying your salary?
You bet I am. But listen, I got to tell you something.
Well, not really. You're not schizophrenic. You want to
I
win.
am schizophrenic. The schizophrenic press is there, Robin. I want to appeal to everyone. Trying to really make some friends this morning. Yes, I am a schizophrenic. We are schizophrenic. Aren't we? We am.
Well, we are. We do have some kind of mental illness, I'm sure.
No, when I say we, I mean just me. We are schizophrenic. All right, listen.
You're talking about yourself.
Yes. Let me just say something here. The big companies that I work for don't worry about me. None of them worry about me. I got to worry about myself. I am in schizophrenic situations. I object to them, but nobody listens to me. Everybody's in this business to make money. Hey, listen. What can I tell you? What can I say? I happen to love the company I work for.
We work much like insurance.
Right. How's that, Robin?
Because even if we trounce the competition and they happen to be the competition, they still make out.
Right. And let me tell you something. I don't like anybody paying the salary of my enemies. But what am I to do? This is what they choose to do.
Howard,
But I'm going to tell you something. They've been very good to me, so the good outweighs the bad.
Howard, this is Joel Brown at the Southtown in Chicago. You spent all your time talking about poor Jack here. What about
Yeah.
some other Chicago celebs? What about Oprah? What about Ditka? What about Michael Jordan?
First of all, Oprah is another big fat loudmouth. I can't stand her. I can't believe that people don't write the fact that, first of all, you talk about an unoriginal person. She's ripping off Phil Donahue. It's the Phil Donahue Show with Oprah Winfrey.
Not quite. She doesn't take on the tough political topics. She leaves those to Phil.
It's a big fatso. And what I find even more amazing is that anybody would go on that show. How could you go on the Oprah Show? You got to be out of your mind. You got to be out of your cotton-picking mind. I've never seen a more exploitive personality than Oprah Winfrey.
I hope all those people aren't from Chicago.
They empty out all the... Are all those guests from Chicago?
You want to talk about exploitation?
Sure.
My name is William Kelly. I'm just a middle-class American here in Chicago.
Well, what are you doing at the press conference?
Well, I'm here to tell you that I'm going to write a letter to the FCC, and I'm going to encourage everyone I know to write letters to the FCC to have you fined and hopefully canceled from here in Chicago.
You want to know something, sir? You'd be doing me
because I think you're a loser.
Yeah,
and
well,
you know what we're going to do? We're going to make sure that your disease is not infecting the city of Chicago like it has the city of New York. It might be okay for New York, but it's not okay for Middle America.
Well, let me first of all,
you're a disease.
Well, okay, I let you talk.
You?
I let you talk, and of course, I'm going to check you out. I'm going to get your name. I'm going to find out what kind of disease you are.
My name is William Kelly.
And I will find out everything about your past. I hope you're clean as a whistle, Will. I hope you're clean as a whistle. I want to find out what kind of upstanding citizens you are.
Okay.
All right?
I welcome it.
And I'm going to tell you something. As far as I'm concerned, you can write 5 billion letters to the FCC. You can contact every one of my sponsors because you know what? I don't care anymore. I don't care. I hope you take me off the air. You'll be doing me a favor. My back hurts from doing this show, from imbeciles getting on here and telling me what a disease I am. While there's all kinds of problems in the world. But you know what, Will? You think people are so stupid that all they can do is listen to idiots like you.
You think you can exploit them.
No, I'm not exploiting anyone. You don't have to listen to this radio show. And stop telling people what to listen to. You're so smart, you know what people should listen to? You know what people should listen to?
Can't leave it up to them. Huh?
No, you can't leave it up to the individual to choose. You're going to decide for them.
If we're so rotten and we're not good for the Midwest, they won't listen.
That's right.
Your job is done.
Yeah, if I'm such a disease, what are you worried about?
So go home.
Go home.
Get a job.
Beat off.
Take care of a real problem.
Your uptightness is a disease. You make no sense. I think there's something wrong with you. I think you need a lobotomy. That's what you did. Next. Will needs a lobotomy.
Speaking of that, Howard, what'd you think about the debates the other night?
Where's Will? What, he run out of the room? Where is he?
He thought we had a good idea. The problem solved.
Problem solved. How silly Will is.
So what about the debates, Howard? What about those candidates?
Hey, Will, drive home fast and go, and you know what? Speed up on the turns. See what happens. Where's Will? Where's the loudmouth?
Sitting right here.
What is your problem in life? What do you know? What do you do for a living?
Well, the Federal Communications Commission states that in order for a program to be obscene, you simply have to apply contemporary community standards to find that the material as a whole appeals.
Now, how did you figure out the community standards?
Yeah, did you poll everyone? How come I'm number one everywhere I go? It seems to me the community standard.
Maybe in New York you're number one.
What about Los Angeles? What about Los Angeles, Will?
Yeah.
What about Philadelphia, Will?
Well,
what about it? How do you explain it, Will? If I'm such a disease.
Let your disease spread to Chicago.
Why is it that you don't think that a human being is capable of deciding for themselves what to listen to? Why do you think that, Will? Do you think you're a smart guy? Do you think you're the smartest guy on the planet? Do you think you should be king of the planet and tell people what to listen to? Is that it, Will? What is that, Will?
Now,
is that what you think, Will? You know, I've never once told anybody what to listen to. If they want to listen to that big fat pig in the morning, they can. I don't care what they listen to. I'm not obnoxious like you. And you know what? I bet that you love this because at least you get attention in the media. I bet you people
who else
quote
is talking to you?
No one else will talk to you.
Look who's talking.
I got a job, Will. What do you do?
Well, I know that you make $1 million a year.
More.
Being obscene.
That's right. Obscene? I don't think I'm obscene, Will. You do. And if you think that, you should turn it off.
Well, if you look at the FCC's...
Let me tell you...
Why
you know
are
what
you looking at that? What do you do for a living?
What do you do for a living, Will?
I work for a pro-family political action committee.
Yeah, okay, good. And how do you make your money? Who pays for this? People make contributions?
That's right.
I see. So in other words, you get on shows and you start screaming about stuff and you hope people will send you contributions.
I'm not screaming. You're the one that's screaming.
So
you are.
because we're on the air, you have a job.
So you better hope I stay on the air so you get lots of donations. That's some job, sitting there collecting money to get me off the air.
Waiting for somebody else to do something so then you can complain about it.
And let me tell you about the FCC. I'll tell you what the FCC is. They're a bunch of clowns. I didn't elect the FCC. I don't even know who these 5 individuals are.
And nobody elected you, Will.
That's right,
Nobody
pal.
elected you either, Howard.
Yeah, but I'm on the radio and you're not. And I tell you what, man, go ahead and try and get me off. I welcome it. Not afraid of you, Will.
Hi, Howard. It's Maurice Weaver from the Chicago Tribune.
What do you think of that guy, Maurice?
He's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's pretty interesting. He's a dynamic fellow. And you know what, Maurice? You should write lots of articles about him so he can get more and more donations.
No, don't find anything out about him. Just put his name in the paper and say he runs some organization.
Right. Don't talk about the fact that there's
Federal Communications Commission.
Good.
And that's the Mass Media Bureau.
And by the way, Will, I am going to have an audit done.
Washington, D.C.
And Will, get ready for the audit I'm going to do on your organization. Get ready for it, pal. You're not fighting with some jackass. I'm going to find out everything about you, Will. Everything. Be clean, pal, and look over your shoulder.
Okay, well, I'm glad that Chicago...
You're my buddy now. We're a-hole
Stern
buddies
is.
right now.
Okay. Howard, I had a two-part question.
You're my buddy. You're my project for the day. I'm going to find out all about you.
You're his obsession.
You're my obsession now. Like you're obsessed with me, I'm obsessed with you.
And I know what your obsessions are. Constantly talking...
Well, how come you know so much about us?
Lewd and vulgar subjects.
What is lewd and vulgar to you? Let me ask you what.
Lesbianism is vulgar?
Nudity.
Why didn't you ask the guy from the gay press if lesbianism is vulgar? What is it? What just because you find it vulgar? Have you ever been to bed with two women? Have you ever been to bed with two women?
Have you been to bed with one woman, Will?
Have you?
I know that you think that obscenity is funny, but Middle America doesn't find
You
it
think
funny.
gay people...
No, you will.
You
You don't
think-
know Middle America.
You think gay people are offensive? You find them offensive.
What shall we do with them?
Shall we kill them, Will?
No.
What would you like to do? You're now the king. You can take me off the air, and what else do you want to do with the gays? What do you want to do?
Homosexuals have the exact same constitutional rights as every other American in this
But
country.
we can't talk about
You
them.
just said it's obscene. You said homosexuality was obscene. Maybe we should kill them.
Your constant dwelling on the subject...
Ever been to an R-rated
Why
movie?
does it bother
What's
you?
obscene, Howard.
Let me ask you something. What happens to you, Will, when you hear sex talk on the radio? Do you feel like you want to go out and have sex?
I don't listen to you on the radio, but
right.
I am afraid that a lot of young
You're
people
afraid
who
of
do
us. What
are
will
gonna
we
go
do to
out
you, Will?
And continue...
What do you imagine will happen if somebody heard me talking about lesbian sex on the radio? What do you imagine happening? What do you think would happen? Let's say...
Would you submit to an experiment, Will? We could try you as our guinea pig. See what happens when people listen to us.
Maybe you'll go
I
out and
want
rape.
you to use Chicago as your guinea pig.
No. Let me ask you something. What do you think is going to happen? You're the head of this big organization. What will happen?
You've already polled Middle America. You know what they're like.
Yeah, you know Middle America. What will happen when a guy hears this show? What will happen when he hears me talk about lesbianism?
He's going to write a letter to the
No.
FCC.
What's going to happen to him? Is he going to
Is
become
he
a
gonna-
lesbian?
Will he become a lesbian? Will he go out and have wild sex? What will happen? What will happen, Will? Tell us what you're afraid of.
What will he turn into?
What will happen to him?
Well,
Well, maybe he'll be entertained.
Tell me what's going to happen to him. You're saying that if he hears obscenity, let's say what I do is obscene. Let's say he hears this.
Okay,
what
well,
do you
then it
think will
shouldn't be
happen?
on the radio.
It shouldn't be on the radio.
That's right.
Okay, because what will happen to him if he hears it? Let's say it's not going to be on the radio anymore. What will happen to him when he hears it? What is it you're afraid
He's
of
going to write a
happening?
letter to the FCC complaining and
I
trying
see.
to get
But you don't know what's going to happen. In other words, when somebody hears this,
Nothing happens.
you're saying nothing happens to them, except
Yeah,
that
and
they have to
just
write a
look
letter to the
at-
FCC.
Look at the spread of sexually transmitted diseases in this
Oh,
country.
that's our fault.
Do you think I started that?
Unwanted pregnancy,
I see.
abortion.
So you think I started
sexual assault
abortion?
against women. You're lewd and
There
obscene
was
comments
never one
are only
unwed
served to
pregnancy until
degrade
we went on
women
the air, Howard?
And to turn them into sex objects.
So let's say a woman gets turned into a sex object. You read? Have you ever read a Playboy?
No.
You've never seen one.
Hey, Howard, I got a room full of people here in Chicago, the press, that cordially were invited and did come in and show up, and I'd like you to kind of, if we can move it along, I'd appreciate it.
Jack, what did I tell you about yourself? You were meaningless to me.
I know, dude, but
You're
I
not
gotta
my
keep it
friend.
moving forward.
Moving forward, you got a gold mine right there. What are
I
you,
know.
crazy?
I know. But I got a lot of people waiting to ask
All
you
right,
questions.
Will, very good. Will answered all our questions. All right, Jack.
No, we'll
Howard, I
talk to Will
appreciate it.
later.
We'll
Maybe.
talk to Will
become
later.
pen pals
I'm sure
and
we will.
Phone
Right.
buddies.
I'm sure we'll be hearing from you.
Now, Maurice Weaver of the Chicago Tribune.
I'm sorry, Maurice. I got hung up on that guy's genius comments.
No problem. Howard, listen.
Filled with genius.
What's been the response to your appearance on the MTV Awards? And also, how do you respond to charges that you're homophobic and sexist?
First of all, my appearance on the MTV Awards was triumphant. I went on there as Fart Man,
And people are clamoring for him now.
Some people were repulsed, and some people really loved it.
Did you just get word that they loved you in England or someplace?
Yes, in England now. I'm an international event. And, no, I think it was a lot of fun, actually. It was goofy. It was a goof. I don't know. I mean, it was fine. I mean, it was a lot of fun to do it. The reaction has been mixed. But everything I do is mixed. I never get any glowing reaction.
Howard, Nathaniel Clay here from the New Metro News.
Whoa.
What do you think about Tipper Gore's drive to restrict the ability of recording companies to record the kind of music they want to?
She's an idiot. She's an idiot. That's all. She's just a big housefrau running around with nothing to do. Her and Will ought to get together and form an organization. Tipper Gore is meaningless.
Are you inclined to join those?
What are you? You a black guy?
Yes.
From the Deep South?
Part of it, yes.
Yes, I can see that.
So are you in...
Hey, Jeff, for the record, Ice-T's an idiot, too. Okay. Take that back, too. That guy's a real dummy. I can't wait till he's in trouble and he has to call a cop. Thank you.
Howard, Joel Kaufman from Chicago Advertising and Media Magazine.
Very important publication, Robin.
Is it? Okay.
Yes. Yes, Joel?
What's the main difference between your show and, say, Steve Dahl's, Jonathan Brandmeier's, either one?
Mine's funny. I work at my show. It's not a big bore fest. It's not a big, boring show because I'm not, in the afternoons, I'm not busy playing Little League.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Larry Menti.
You know what the difference is? Take a look at Johnny B's TV show and look at mine. Mine had a 33 share. What did Johnny B's have? It was off in 2 weeks. That's the difference. When I do something, people flock to it.
But why?
Why? Because God blessed me with a sense of humor, and God blessed me with the fact that everything I say is interesting. It's amazing. You could make all the fun of me in the world you want. You could say I'm a retard, this and that and the other thing. But I got to tell you, when you tune in, you have a good time.
Okay, thanks.
That's why.
This is Larry Menti from Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Larry.
I'm surprised anybody's
left.
Asking another question.
This is the angriest press conference.
You are scary today.
Thank you, Robin. Robin likes me like this.
How's that going?
My movie is going along okay. I mean, I'm still trying to find a good set of writers. It's taking some time. But we're moving along on it.
Do you have a studio and you have the funding and everything?
Yeah, well, I'm signed with New Line Cinema. I have a couple of ideas for several different films, and we're trying to decide which one to do. One of them being Fart Man. And it's going along fine. The studio's been very cooperative. They're anxious to get started. I'm anxious to get started. And it's just a matter of putting together. A movie takes a long time to put together. I mean, it can't be done in a week.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Hi, Howard. This is Gordon Wallach of the Daily Herald. Will you be putting in any personal appearances in Chicago?
Yes, when I become
parade?
No, when I become number one, I'll be there. When the good people of Chicago make me number one, I will come there.
Okay, another question.
And I'm going to have a big fat blow up blimp of that big fat pig on in the morning, Steve.
Well, I just want to make sure I didn't misinterpret any of your earlier comments. Are you going to be targeting any one competitor?
Listen, let me tell you something. I got a list of competitors here that Jack sent me. One guy is Bob Collins, who really, I hate to tell Jack this. This guy's not my competitor. His audience is about 95 to death. It's a bunch of old farts listening to him. He's got Paul Harvey News, for God's sakes. When the hell did News become Paul Harvey? The other competition is the Eddie and Jobo show. Can you imagine that? The Eddie and Jobo show. I'm so sick of radio guys. You mean to tell me that Johnny B couldn't beat the Eddie and Jobo show? That Eddie and Jobo beat him? What is Eddie and Jobo? They are famous for No Panties Thursday. What is No Panties Thursday? Sounds like a carnival. What, Eddie and Jobo don't wear panties on Thursday? What is No Panties Thursday? Do you know, sir?
No, I don't.
Men Are Scum Mondays.
They're doing that whole thing. Okay, I got that picture.
Their real names are Ed Volkman and Joe Bohannon. Then there's the Robert Murphy Show, which they say is like the Rick D Show. Now, I can't imagine that Johnny B on the loose or Big Fat Steve couldn't beat these guys. If this is my competition, this isn't even fair. Give me somebody to compete with. And on WLS, AM, and FM, we compete with Don Wade and Roma. This is a husband and wife team that won't admit that they're married on the air.
Oh, this is funny.
I love that. Is that really true, Jack? They're husband and wife, and they won't admit it on the air?
That's what I've been told. I don't listen that much, but yeah, that's the deal on them. By the way, Johnny B beat everybody in that list you got there.
I thought he had sunk, and I thought he had lost all his ratings.
No, he was riding real high when we made this change. By the way, just to clear up...
And what was his rating?
About a 7.5.
Was it 7.5?
Yeah.
And what was Jobo and Momo?
5 and change.
And what is the other
Bob
Collins?
That's an 11.
An 11?
Yeah, that's the one we got to go for.
Well, what the hell is Bob Collins doing?
Well, he's like a traffic cop between Paul Harvey and the next feature.
I see.
By the way, to clear up another gray area we had earlier, the FM has its own program director named Dave Logan. And
Dave Logan's a putz. I know Dave Logan.
Gotcha.
And you know why Dave's in Chicago? Because we threw him out of New York.
Okay.
Chicago got New York's leftovers. I hate Dave.
I'll say hi to him in the hall.
Dave competed with me in New York, and ask Dave what happened.
All right.
Ask Dave why he's in Chicago now.
I'll do that.
Big king of Chicago, Dave Logan.
Howard, this is Bruce Dumont. I'm president of the Museum of Broadcast Communications. And
will this be in the Museum of Broadcast?
Yeah, probably will.
I see.
You have suggested that a lot of people around the country have ripped off your act.
Thank you.
Where did you get your inspiration from? And tell us a little bit about how you really did get started in the business.
I am
what are the
divinely
people that turned you on.
I am divinely inspired. I used to listen to talk radio as a little kid. I was never turned on by music radio. I always thought it would be interesting to have an FM guy do music and talk at the same time. I started my morning show career when I was in college. I did an hour-long program in 1973 with 3 other guys. We got on, we took phone calls, and we did bits. One of the first bits I ever did was Godzilla Goes to Harlem with a guy named Bruce and Joel and Bob. We were fired in college radio.
For Godzilla Goes to Harlem.
For Godzilla Goes to Harlem, which was considered too controversial.
What talk show hosts you mentioned?
None of them. They all suck. There's nothing good in radio. The competition is, have you heard good radio? I haven't.
He's talking about as you were growing up.
Yeah,
growing up?
Yeah. I mean, was it Joe
well,
Pine,
I would listen to...
Or is Joe Pine a little before?
No, Joe Pine was before my time, and Joe Pine was a crank. Joe Pine would get on the air and was inconsistent. He would scream about how he wasn't going to smoke. He was going to smoke till the day he died. He got cancer, and you know what? He quit smoking.
Died anyway, then.
Died anyway.
Is talk radio, in your view, is it on the right track now that television seems to be, frankly, ripping off much of what talk radio does?
Well, I think that, quite frankly, television is completely in the ozone, and the stuff that they're putting on, half the people just can't stand. I mean, television audiences are disappearing. And quite frankly, radio has never been on track. We are filled with guys, big fat guys in Hawaiian shirts. That's what radio's come down to.
Well,
there's a big fat guy in every town with a Hawaiian shirt.
In the country, another large-sized guy who's doing very well at the moment is Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, really, is he? Did you look at the ratings on Rush Limbaugh?
No, I'm talking about radio, not...
Take a look at the radio ratings. He's on middays.
But again...
He's on middays, and he doesn't get high ratings.
Would you acknowledge
he's
that
a joke.
At least some impact?
Who, Rush?
Yeah. Does he communicate?
Rush, let me ask you something. Did you ever investigate where Rush Limbaugh was for the last, 15, 20 years? Why he was not even in radio? Rush Limbaugh left radio because he couldn't think of anything interesting to say.
Right.
He went out and became a salesman. Then he heard me on the radio a couple of years ago with all my balls and all my brass after getting fired all over the country. And you know what? Then all of a sudden Rush said, oh, yeah, I could do that too. You mean I could say what's on my mind? I could go up there and yell and scream and do my thing and be honest. And then he goes on middays. Why doesn't Rush come on in the morning and compete with me for a couple of years? We'll see how funny Rush is.
Is there anyone that's currently working either at the national network or syndicated level that you think is doing a marginally good job, if not a good job? Other than yourself?
No. No, I don't.
Howard, Joel Brown again.
Joel, I got to take a break here. They're signaling me for commercial break. Robin.
Hi, Howard.
Joel, can I just take your question after this?
Sure.
And then I'll have to wrap up the press conference.
Okay.
Because we got to get to news. All right, hold on, okay? We'll be right back.